the Roman city of Serdica was right here, and a couple of Roman emperors, Aurelian and Glaerius, were actually born here. In 200 AD. This was a time with a lot of Roman co-emperors and stuff like that. I talked about in other videos in the past. So let's talk about Roman Christianity, which this city played a huge part in. So this church, well, not this church, but the base was a church in a Roman necropolis here, which is like a fancy graveyard for probably rich people. Below this now church. The church was built here in the early 300s. An early Christian church. This area had a big Christian community, and this was the first place that in 311 AD, first time ever in the Roman Empire, that Christianity was said, in this city at least, that's how I read it, is legalized. So, to follow any other religion, usually in Rome, other than the pagan religion, was punishable by death unless there was some contract the Jewish had, I think, for a long time. Christianity, definitely. Tons of Christians were killed. So, the emperor decided to do that for the city. There were so many Christians here, and he was like, oh, okay, you know. So that was on this spot, which is incredible. Like Emperor Glaerius. This predated the 313, the next huge boost for Christianity worldwide, the Edict of Milan, but in 2 years, where the then co-emperor Constantine legalized all other religions other than the Roman religion, which included Christianity in the whole empire. Which obviously was in Italy, Milan. So the Emperor Constantine the Great often lived in Serdica, calling it his Rome. He preferred here in Rome and the city that bears his name, which was Byzantium, which turned into the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire, Constantinople, which is now Istanbul. So, I already dove into the creation of Christianity as a Rome official religion in other videos, so I won't go into too deeply, but basically 325 AD, the Nicean Council established Christian doctrine in the empire, and Constantine was the first ever emperor to convert to Christianity, which he did on a deathbed in 337. In 345 AD, the Council of Serdica was held here also at the spot of this church, making Christianity the official religion of the city, which led to, in 380 AD, Christianity was adopted to the whole empire. It was the official religion of the Roman Empire, which changed the world. And it's a big reason why I grew up Catholic, and billions of people from Mexico to Philippines to Spain to countless places and times are Christian, was because of that time right there. That happened here. Decisions that were made. Who knows what the world would be like other than that. So after that, the Roman Emperor during this time was having some problems with East and West, you know, and the West was getting invaded a lot by barbarians, and the Orthodox kingdom actually took over the Western Empire and sacked Rome at one point. And the East kind of was doing its own thing because Byzantium was strong, which is over there in Turkey, with modern day Istanbul. And they were hanging on to the Christian tradition, while Rome in that area was more going towards Roman Catholicism. I lost my place, sorry. So what happened next in this city was, during the Byzantine Empire times, the Huns from Central Asia, who would merge with people from the north and eventually create the country of Hungary, where they were Central Asian steppe people, they invaded and sacked the city in 447 AD. So Serdica was destroyed pretty much, left to stone ruins. And watch the next part. of the post-Roman history coming up next. And Serdica was sacked by the Huns. I forgot to mention that this is St. Sofia Church, where the city of Sofia gets its name. This is also Alexander's, I can't pronounce it, cathedral. Modern area of the city, which has ties to ancient times. St. Sofia Church was built on top of the necropolis and older Roman church ruins a few hundred years later, which I'll get into in a different spot. Okay, the Huns sacked the city in 447 AD. We're getting closer to the mid times when Bulgaria first started. That's what this video is about. We're really in the middle of modern Sofia. The Orthodox kingdom, which was the first Italian kingdom who overthrew Rome, the city of Rome actually, took over the region briefly also, but the Emperor of Byzantium, Justinian, retook the city in the 500s, kept recapturing losses of the Roman territory, but briefly, all the way to Egypt and here and a bunch of other places. The last time the glory of the whole Roman Empire existed actually was under Justinian. By the 500s to 600s AD, like all of the Balkans, Eastern Europe, and Central Europe, there were the many migrating Slavic tribes who I think originated in the area of the Ukraine-Poland border from my research, but it's mysterious because they didn't have writing when they first came about. So they reached this area. They mingled with the remnants of all those people, from the Thracians to the Romans and all the other times. At this time, the Byzantines, capital of Constantinople, were entangled in a war with Persia and couldn't govern Serdica very well, so the Slavs started becoming very powerful here. And then came the Bulgars. The antithesis of the name Bulgaria. So the Bulgar people are a Central Asian tribe. The ancient Chinese records actually describe them, and their geographic origin is quite mysterious, but it's thought to be somewhere in the northeast of the Black Sea near the Caucasus, maybe even in the Uzbek area of Central Asia. These nomadic steppe horse warrior people, that were many tribes stretching from the Mongols to the Tartars to the Avars, and all these peoples in Central Asia are very fascinating and mysterious. The Bulgars were one of them. They kept conquering and pushing west, looking for a homeland close by to here. Another steppe people called the Avars from the Caucasus in the 600s briefly took over the Bulgars and stopped their western campaign. But in 635 the Bulgars revolted, and the first Bulgar state was established, but not here though. It was more north in the area of Romania, Moldova, and central southern Ukraine area. The Bulgars, though, they did coexist and mingle with the Slavic people and others, contributing to the modern Bulgarian DNA of today. So the Byzantines were trying to retake control from the Bulgars, but lost, and they had to recognize the Bulgar state, which was a little bit north of here originally. But from the 600 to 800, there was still a lot of fighting between the Bulgar Empire and the Byzantine Eastern Roman Empire, Byzantium. In 809, though, the first Bulgarian king of the modern state defeated the Byzantines once and for all and took over a good portion of the Balkans, including here, the modern Bulgarian border. So that was the start of this as Bulgaria, this area. He actually had, I don't know how, the Byzantine emperor killed, maybe in battle. I couldn't find the exact story, but he lined his skull with silver and made it into a wine-drinking cup. Whoa, brutal. So the city was named Sredets. The Bulgarian Empire at the time was one of the most powerful in Europe. This was its capital from 800s to 1000s. 971, that's when it was made capital. During this time also is when the conflict began arising between the Vatican and Constantinople over the types of Christian Jesus worship that people like to establish. We're here at a church. And many in the area, actually, throughout this time, were still pagan, from the Slavic religions and the Roman religions too. But most started aligning with the Eastern world instead of the Western Christian world and the Pope. In 827 AD, Greek Saint Cyril and Methodists invented the Cyrillic Writing technique with a language in Greek called Old Bulgarian, and completely translated most of the Bible. which Bulgarians are very proud of those two people to this day. They were missionaries converting many Slavs and other people to the Eastern Orthodox Church, which we have an example of right here. And they actually sided with Roman, they actually differed with Roman Catholicism, but they made it up into Moravia, which is currently Czech Republic, when they decided to be more aligned with the Pope and the Romans. St. Cyril and Methodists and a lot of their followers and missionaries came south, which many of them settled in Bulgaria. That's why the Bulgarian Orthodox Church from that time, 1200 years ago, is still so strong to this day. So the Byzantines, though, were always pestering, and in 1018 they retook the city from the Bulgarian Empire until 1185. During this time is when the Great Schism occurred in 1054 between the two church leaders. One from Rome, who was the advisor to the Pope, and the other a priest from Constantinople, I believe. This got so heated to how to worship them some Jesus that the East and West totally broke apart. Orthodox, Roman Catholicism, forever. Orthodox includes Greek Orthodox and Russian style, like this church, and it's very noticeably different than Roman Catholicism. So the head at that time was in Constantinople. So the Catholic Crusades were happening in the south at this time, in Jerusalem area, Lebanon, and the Byzantium, and had Turkic tribes that were invading from the east. So Turkic is actually not Turkish. Turkic are a large group of people from all over Central Asia, from the far west and east sides of Central Asia. And the Byzantium, again, in 1185, lost the city and the area to the Bulgarians because they were struggling so much. The Mongol invasions and the Crusades were happening all around this area, affecting geopolitics here, including the Roman Catholic sack and crusade of Constantinople itself in the 1200s, which the Byzantines ended up retaking. Bulgaria, though, by the 1300s, unfortunately, after some good times in the 1200s, with a lot of interesting things happening, not enough time to get into, they lost most of its territory to the Serbian state, and it became a feudal entity, which was a very small Bulgarian state. And check out the next part of the history next, into the 1300s.